Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Masters Tour Seoul. We're coming up on the final round of play, as many players have dropped, but still some stay in. You see Felkeine there in the bottom left corner as we progress to find out who is joining us in the top 8. This is the last round, last chance for a lot of these top 16 players to improve their standings, and two of them which we'll focus on is Felkeine up against Sooni. And, I was told that 3 Korean players currently possess positions in the top 8.
Really?
Would be really exciting to see them as we are a sold-out crowd for Sunday, Championship Sunday. And it's going to be very exciting if the hometown Korean fans can root for some of their Korean players.
Yeah, I cannot wait. This is my first time here in South Korea. I know you've enjoyed your tournaments here greatly previously.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see some of the spirit of esports that I've heard so much about.
Yeah, hopefully it delivers. I do know that the Korean fans would be a little less excited for non-Korean players, given that they have a lot of pride in their home country for esports in general, if you guys know from StarCraft and all kinds of esports around Korean history. So going into this game, it's a Priest versus a Mage matchup. We've seen Priest do fairly well against Mage, so, by all means, this looks like a good opportunity for Sooni to lock his top 8 spot.
That's right. The Priest really seems to shine against the matchups where there's not much removal, knocking about early on. And the Reno Mage has a couple of nice key tools to be able to remove those early minions, but you need a little bit more oomph, like the Warrior has with all the rush minions early on.
All right, well, taking a look at the standings here, Sooni has the best tiebreakers at 9-2. So taking a loss here isn't exactly damning of his chances in top 8. But if we were to freeze after 11 rounds, it'd be Zim, Dead Draw, List from China, Sooni, Physics King, Ma Goho, Staz, and You Need. And I count that, 4 mages? Or 3 mages only in the top 8, if that's the case? We would have a handful of priests and hunters and a warrior.
Pretty cool mix there to be, 2 warriors actually, Dead Draw and Magaho both on the
you're right.
The warrior control
Magaho
and
also.
bomb respectively, which, as you seemingly correctly predicted, is a pretty low representation of Mage overall, given how many came into the scene.
Yeah, I think there's just too many. First of all, they kill each other, which we expected, and my heart goes out to the competitors, but it is a choice that they made, and they have to. Now that they made their bed, they have to lay in it. And so when you're like at this point where you just kind of bring Mage, you're at the mercy of the Pocket Galaxy coin flips. I think, what do you want me to say? Like,
right. No.
You put yourself in that situation where you're at a 50-50. I don't know.
This is not a new phenomenon unique just to Luna's Pocket Galaxy. It's been the consideration across all of Hearthstone is, do you bring the best deck and accept that against players who are of a similar caliber to you, there's not much in it. If you're both playing at the top of your level, it's difficult to outplay them. Or do you go with something a little bit weaker, but that shakes things up a bit, means that you can try and catch them off guard, which is what players like Sooni have gone for. As we can see here, up against Felkeine's Reno Mage, I think he's in with a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I want Felkeine to do well, but I kind of want Sooni to crush him. For a few reasons. The first reason is because I just want the mages to lose. Nothing against the players again. It's just the class as a whole. Second, Sooni is a Korean player. I would love to see Sooni play on home soil in front of the fans. It'd be great. And then third is that Sooni's had some of the highlight plays of this tournament so far. So I want to see some Octosari. I want to see some slapping action. That's more against the Warrior than it is against the Mage, but, we get to see some of those Warriors in top 8 potentially, and we'll see how that ends up shaping up.
Yeah, I hope we get to see him and potentially Physics King lining up against each other again later on in the tournament. That did deliver one of the highlight moments, and that does just seem like a pretty insane matchup, the Priest Mirror. Perhaps a little bit toxic in terms of who can get off to the better start, but if you've got your wits about you, there's some tricksy plays that can be made.
Trust this guy. He knows what toxic's all about.
Are you slipping under?
Is that a toxic comment?
Why not? Brittany. It's Brittany, Dan.
Save it for after the broadcast, Derek. Although I do appreciate your flirtatious manner. Let's go into game number 1, Priest versus the Mage. Northshire, Cleric and extra arms. I don't know how he does it, but Sooni, every game I've seen him play on broadcast, he always has the 1-2 punch.
Yep, this is the absolute dream. This is what a lot of players were scared of when Extra Arms was fairly recently buffed in the Rise of the Mechs patch. It used to cost 3 mana to give +2/+2 to a minion, which added another 3 mana +2/+2 card to your hand. Now it's 2 mana on both sides, both Extra Arms and More Arms after that as well. So it's effectively just a better Blessing of Kings. You can just split up the buffs and it doesn't have to come down on turn 4. It's a much better Blessing of Kings.
Right, and now Felkeine, if he plays this Acidic Swamp Ooze, which wouldn't be a bad play on paper,
Ooh.
he is directly playing into the hands of the Priest, and he has the cards that are supposed to make it very powerful, right? He has Mountain Giant, he has Pocket Galaxy, but is the game going to even get to that point?
As it currently stands, it does not look like it. Sooni is in with a very good shot of just dominating this early game, getting a whole bunch of draw going on. And with potentially, I don't know, injured Blade Master dying into Psychopomp, that is one hell of a tempo swing.
Yeah, the one caveat to that is, how does Polymorph fall into this equation? Polymorph does mess with the Resurrect pool.
Bigly, it does.
Yeah, I mean, still, you could take your chances with the injured Blade Master versus a sheep.
I'd take my chances.
It wasn't a
with that.
joke.
No. It's just
very true.
My imagination is running away with me.
As soon as I say sheep, huh? You sick, sick man.
I'm not Welsh,
Wow. Is that what happens over there? All right. Note to self, don't stop by Wales whenever I go to the UK.
It is beautiful. Probably should. But yeah.
Yeah, so is that a jab at Soddle? I don't know.
No,
Either way,
yeah, I deliberately left the pronunciation
I
a little.
very much approve. I like your banter, sir. No Ritualist would have made this hand completely pop off.
Oh, yeah. And it's still perfectly reasonable, right? Draw a couple of cards here, keep this minion nice and healthy.
Ooh.
Of course, the Polymorph can mess that up somewhat.
I'm really heavily considering getting 2 cards off of the Nursery Cleric, because your hand is like missing like a Circle of Healing or Ritualist, and then it truly becomes the nuts. And then you also want to get closer to Interfire.
Right, because the only thing your opponent can do that disrupts this is really Polymorph, actually. Because if you heal, like Frostbolt Ping doesn't kill it off.
Okay. Interesting. So I guess Sooni's just prioritizing more tempo, like trying to put pressure, which makes sense. I mean, Mage is not going to do much in this early game.
That's true, and if you are met with a Polymorph here, or even a Frostbolt, you can still just go with heal More Arms,
right?
Or
heal whatever
Cleric
survives.
heal. Exactly.
Yeah. Polymorph the Northside Cleric. It has the most immediate threat.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Limiting the card draw of Priest is absolutely tantamount to your victory.
Looks like Sooni's just prioritizing zooing down Felkeine.
I mean, he knows it's before Reno can come down to clear this board, and I guess he's just hoping that next turn he will be able to bolster the health total enough. Especially as it's heading into turn 5, right? If Felkeine wants to go for some kind of removal option, he would have to forego the Galaxy, the card that every mage wants to play on turn 5, which for Sooni is a pretty good recognition, I would say, of the mana total that Felkeine has to work with on turn 5.
Spellbender. Interesting.
That's a good card against Priest. That's very, very good.
Specifically against More Arms.
Yeah.
It's very good. And Sooni does have the Psychopomp, and only Northshire Clerics have died. That's next turn, though. This turn, is it the injured Tolvir?
He just needs to try and think as much as possible, about how to get above 10 health on this turn.
If he plays injured Tolvir and heals, he will be out of range, but if it's a mirror entity, he's back at where he started.
That's true. Yep, good point. Equally, it could be a Flame Ward, which would then completely decimate any chances of getting above that total. But if he were to attack face, he could try to resurrect one with a Psychopomp, were it a Flame Ward.
Wait, yes, exactly. That's definitely something to consider, the Psychopomp situation. But, I mean, this also means that maybe Sooni just plays the injured Tolvir and then goes face.
Oh, that's just so bad against Reno. Like, if you do that and he plays Reno, the game ends. You cannot come back from that position, I don't think.
Well, he does have the Psychopomp, so if he revives the 4-7.
Psychopomp resing a...
yeah. So what's so interesting
Blade Master,
is...
I guess, would give you a chance.
What's so fascinating to me, Derek, is that I feel like Sooni has played almost every turn differently than how I would play.
100%.
And so I feel like Sooni understands the deck much deeper than I do, or he just has a completely different philosophy on how to approach his matchup.
Well, his philosophy is very clear. It's prioritizing board development over card draw, which is actually something I think I would disagree with. I think going specifically into turn 5, it's perfectly reasonable to just go all in on board as much as possible to deny the Luna's Pocket Galaxy. But any turns earlier than that, I think just cycling through your deck as this Priest is so much more valuable.
I find it hard to disagree with you. That's just because I think we're playing from a more traditional perspective of what the deck usually likes to do. But Sooni's done a really good job mounting an offensive despite that. The one thing that he lacks, and that's kind of what we were getting at the beginning, was resources.
Yeah.
And it's very all in.
We're the old fuddy-duddies, the stuck-up brass, and he's the young hotshot who's sticking it to the man.
Oh, yeah. Is this potential lethal here? I don't think so.
Outside of, like, if Ziliax didn't have lifesteal, it would be lethal, I think, but not quite with the extra heal that it garners.
So, yeah.
He can definitely kill off the
Doomsayer.
yeah, which is why he's very warranted to go for the Psychopomp first. Yikes.
Wow, the one card that, I mean, he could have traded in the 2-3 also, but Sooni very upset, obviously, by that.
That's true. I don't think you'd like to dilute your chances of getting the Cleric or the
Injured Blade Master.
Injured Blade Master, however, yeah. So I think this was probably the correct way to go about it, and he just got a bad outcome.
Man, that was good. I'm so proud of you, Derek. I'm glad that you committed too. You didn't just like fumble your way there.
No, I've learned my lesson. You just got to commit to it, and then it's slightly less embarrassing, still incredibly humiliating, but somewhat less so.
That's right. It's too bad you're taken. A man that's not afraid of commitment. Flame Strike off the top, which doesn't incidentally deal with a lot of the board, just part of it.
Could this be the infamous Galaxy that does not instantly win a game that we're finally getting to witness?
Oh, on the contrary.
Things slowing down for both players now. It's looking more and more like just what they have on board will have to get the job done. Because Sooni has no more Clerics. He's run out of a lot of value as well with Psychopomp, one of them gone, 2 Blade Masters gone.
I mean, Sooni doesn't have any card draw anymore.
Yeah. He's just going to have to Circle of Healing and push face. I agree.
That's not what I said at all, but I agree with that.
Sorry, I agree with what he's about to do. It's not all about you, Dan.
It's news to me. Divine Spirit to protect the 4/4. Man, if a Zephyrs comes out and like just Cabal Shadow Priests.
Ooh.
Because that does happen.
Siamat keeps him alive.
Yes.
Barely.
Unless
he could go Rush and Wind Fury to take out the Taunt, and then Ping specifically to take out the Sheep, which keeps him alive at 1. Oh no, or trade in. Yeah, this works too.
And then extra arms off the top is victory.
Yep.
Psychopomp.
With the Sheep dying a few times now, it's the most likely res, but the Tolvir comes out instead.
So now, what does Sooni kill?
Is there any direct damage in the deck? Does Holy Ripple go face?
It might.
I
One sec.
honestly can't remember.
I mean, we compared to Holy Nova, so it has to be. It's
Right,
all
okay.
enemies, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
We're looking at our internet. We're trying to look on the internet if that's the case. We should know that off the top of our head, but I just want to make sure we're saying the right things.
Yeah, all enemies.
All enemies. At the same time, the punish of like leaving up an Antonitis and your opponent playing like a couple fireballs means that this game has slipped away.
But then again, if you're trading, does Sooni ever pull himself ahead on board here. Like if he takes a trade on the, I don't know,
the
Antonidas, yeah, instead of the Siamat makes sense. But then
I think it would be Antonidas.
Trade ping. He's lost board then, right?
Right.
I think he has to go face.
I mean, Felkeine's last card is Mountain Giant, and Sooni doesn't know that.
It's a good point. Yes, good point.
It's completely. It could be a handful of cards that Felkeine like. It could be like Puzzle Box. Yes, I love the attack.
Oh!
He's played Flame Strike, so he has like Frost Nova. He has Puzzle Box. Conjure's Calling? Wait, Arcane Intellect.
AI. I think it's got to be AI, right?
Unless Frost Nova is another consideration. Power of Creation. Frost Nova.
Is it ever Frost Nova and just push as much face as possible?
I like it.
Yeah.
Frost Nova.
Or it at least just keeps you alive.
And the
As much
Fireball.
as possible, yeah.
The Fireball lets you kill the 7/7.
Yeah.
Oh. One
at 1
damage.
health. Seems to be clawing his way back into this game. Sooni doesn't even have many just cycle effects in his deck to keep shuffling through.
He can silence the Antonidas.
Tony, I guess, yeah.
It was good that Felkeine traded everything too, because he wouldn't be able to silence his own minion. I wonder. So there's 14 damage on board. They fireball twice.
You have best.
Throws it down. I guess he's maybe not even running Holy Ripples in the deck. Because without that, there's literally no burst damage available.
Wow, the Tortolan Pilgrim pulling the Arcane Intellect to find the spells, and just by the skin of his teeth, he was able to survive. I did not expect it to go that way, although I guess we could reevaluate a couple of things. First of all, Sooni committed to an all-in game plan that was trying to maximize damage. Did he miss damage in a juncture, you think?
I think it was less about whether or not he missed damage at a juncture, but whether or not damage was the correct plan to go for originally.
I'm saying if we follow along his lines, before we question the fundamentals about that, do you think he missed any damage or like had a decision point he could have improved there?
It's difficult to remember back to a certain point, but I think as far as I can tell, he was pushing face as much as possible, right? He was trying to prioritize damage, just getting the the minions on board as soon as possible, the Blade Masters. It's important for that to get the damage through.
Right, and I think like maybe the Psycho Pomp situation definitely, obviously, did not help his cause. But that then calls into question, should we fundamentally be trying for this game plan as a priest when you have double Cleric, and you could have taken it way slower and set up a big combo that way? Hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Hard to say, but I do lean into whether or not Sooni should be prioritizing damage as much as he did. Because, Priest isn't a direct damage class. And so you don't have the Hunter Hero power. You don't have other ways to lob that extra damage in. But you do benefit off of card draw.
Yep.
Like, the reason why Northshire Cleric is such an insane card is because you get to, draw cards.
It's pretty much the entirety of the Priest archetype is Northshire Cleric. It's so core to all of these kinds of Divine Spirit and Fire decks.
Right. Otherwise, why aren't we just playing Dire Maul's rotated out? Why aren't we just playing Crystallizer?
Right. Yeah.
Because that's kind of felt like what the Northshire Cleric was doing. I don't think he drew a single card off of that.
Very few, if any.
I think he didn't draw a single card.
I guess you're right.
If he did, he may have drawn only one. No Northshire Cleric.
And Felkeine, with the somewhat more interesting mulligan, I would argue, throws away the Luna's Pocket Galaxy from his starting hand. That's got to be the first time we've seen that this weekend.
Interesting.
And it says a lot about what he's going for here. Okay, Wild Growth for Felkeine. That makes sense. 6 is his powerhouse turn as it currently stands. So he wants to try and ramp up to Reno and the Mossy Horror, of course, as well. But he is looking to be, until he gets to that point, perhaps in a little bit of trouble with the amount of damage he's taking. But I guess actually just being able to go coin Reno next turn will completely clear the board. Unless we were to see specifically Circle of Healing, and then obviously probably the Inner Fire on the Tolvir, and afterwards a Wild Pyromancer as well, which get the board up to exactly 11 health.
Yes, I like that.
Which means that 6 health probably, or 6 damage probably survives on the board.
Yeah, and like you said, stops the Mossy Har as well, which is the tech for the secondary deck for Felkeine.
Oh man, this is so all in, but man, is this not going to work for Sooni. He grimaces, the Reno comes down.
Well, it's very likely that a 6/6 survives.
Yes, very, very likely. But even then, the trade-in, okay. Okay, that's not bad. Circle of Healing plus double extra arms, I guess?
I assume so. I mean, then you put your opponent down to 12.
Yeah. And then if they just have nothing, that's your best shot. Or is it's not guaranteed clear, right? Because you have a lot of healing as well.
Yeah, Felkeine does have the Bone Wraith.
Yes, he does have answers. I just don't really see what other alternative he has. Like, he could wait for Cleric, I suppose, but he wouldn't have any minions in play if he did hold on for that.
He could hold on to one. He could just like heal instead and just do extra arms. But that would make it vulnerable to a Frostbolt. Or even Ray of Frost.
I just don't really know what he's expecting to hit, right?
Yeah.
I think
like
this is an all-in situation. Either it works here or you lose on the spot. Unless, of course, he switched over to the Coffin Crasher Octasari version, in which case maybe a couple of Dream Draws could get him there. Even that seems a little bit optimistic.
Looking for Vaporize. Oh,
wow, doesn't hit it.
None of that, but gets Ice Barrier. And, you know, Sooni's in a position where I don't think he even gets to really choose whether or not he attacks face.
Yep.
Oh! Oh my gosh!
I mean, he's obviously praying that he's found lethal here. There's so much that messes him up.
He has to topsy-turvy first.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't see it, and now he's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Is that good news? Is that bad news?
He was hoping it was Counterspell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or Spellbender even.
And he has to go for it. You can't train into a minion.
Yeah, he's got to go for it. Would he only do it once because of Vaporize, or do you just accept that Vaporize you never win and try to be a bit better versus Ice Barrier by buffing twice? Yeah, that makes sense.
I like the buff twice plan. Twice. It's your favorite K-pop band. Do it. Yes.
Here we go.
Kill him.
Hello.
Oh, he's baiting him.
Darth Frodan trying to make Sooni come to the dark side and kill Felkeine. He has to do it. There's no choice.
Yes. Oh.
So
that
if
is
we
a
see
monk of sweat.
Bone Wraith here into silence off the top.
Yes, or he could alternatively get the perfect scoundrel card.
Yeah.
No. Mirror Image. Mirror Image is big. That is 28 life.
For 1 mana.
For 1 mana.
Wow.
Is that more reliable than Bone Wraith? It kind of is. Because it's split across 2 targets.
I guess so, yeah. If it's exactly silence you're afraid of, that's just kind of better.
Is there a card that can stop him here?
Oh.
Blade Master. I mean, it's something to do.
Tolvir Warden, swole as heck, saying, "Don't you talk to me or my son ever again."
There's 12 damage on the board.
Yeah.
Tolan Pilgrim. Oh, Frost Nova and
just Frost
Doomsayer.
Nova, yeah. He's blowing up a full board of minions. I guess purely because he knows he just wins. If this dies, he just wins.
Does he, though?
I think so.
I don't think it's guaranteed. It's likely.
I guess not. Amit and
Psychopomp
can do some pretty disgusting things. That's fair enough.
Oh man,
That'll
here we go.
help to get across the finish line.
Oh man, here
that
we go.
That will definitely help. Oh, okay. A couple of dream spells here. Maybe. And we're talking. If Sooni can hit, Northshire Cleric, Circle of Healing. Maybe.
Still very unlikely.
Felkeine with hands together in prayer. He realizes he is right on the cusp of going to a 10-2 scoreline, putting him in a very, very good spot to get through to the top 8.
Felkeine just loading up taunt after taunt. Staring into the sky, thanking RNGesus. Trying to recall every single thing he ate for breakfast so he can replicate whatever superstition that has led to this occasion. Thinking, how am I so good at Hearthstone?
I think it's probably a lot less self-enthusiastic than that.
Yeah, obviously it's just more relief. I am completely joking. I hope they don't take that actually personally. High Priest of Met. Not going to be enough. Sooni concedes a 2-0 Felkeine, booking his ticket to the top 8.
You can just see how rough he felt going into that series. The dominant streak that Sooni, as well as Physics King, have been on with this combo Priest that they made together has been quite impressive. But Felkeine, I'm sure to be going off to celebrate with his friends, will be very happy to take that victory.
That's right. You can see him fist pump to his buddies. He's traveled all the way from France to get to this point, and Team Solar should be very proud of his performance. Sooni is at the mercy of tiebreakers, but going into this, he had the best tiebreakers from all the 9-2s. So he is the first candidate that's 9-3.
Yes.
Unless his opponents also improved their tiebreakers beyond that.
That's right. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to take a look at the bracket after the matches there have been settled. But I think we have, a pretty good idea of who will be in with a shot. Dead Draw right up at the top. Obviously Zim as well. A lot of very, very strong contenders.
All right. So we're going to take a break. And we come back. We have 4 of the players in the top 8 already somewhat guaranteed. We're going to check in on the rest of the spots and who it's going to. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the Hearthstone Masters Tour from Seoul, South Korea.